joining us for another podcast episode featuring our AgTech series. My name is Casey Taves, and I work in our agriculture practice as an associate recruiter, and I'm excited to chat with Phil Hord of Hord Family Farms today. Welcome, Phil.
Hi, Casey. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing very well, thanks.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. And just to kind of jump right into it, can you please just provide an overview of your role in your organization?
So I'm currently serving as the president of our business, Hord Family Farms. We have an agribusiness located in north central Ohio. Pigs are our main focus of our business. Our family also has some beef cattle. We also crop farm some grains and grasses, about 8,500 acres, and also have a diversification portfolio of alternative investments within our family's overall business structure. So good to be with you today.
Awesome. That's really cool. So just as you've been in the industry, grew up in the industry, ag tech has been something that's been evolving within the agriculture industry. So as the technology continues to evolve, what notable advancements have had a significant impact on your organization specifically?
Yeah, I mean, technology has obviously continued to evolve in many industries, if not all industries. And I would say within agriculture, most are not aware of just how many advancements actually have happened or how many things have been achieved in our industry. And, agriculture as a broad sector, but then as you specifically go down into us when we're doing hog and pig farming, talking with friends and colleagues outside of agriculture, most are, are amazed at the things that are being accomplished. But the things that I think about are probably not too crazy, but for example, the genetics of the pigs we're raising continue to be refined through selective breeding. So it's not genetic modification, but selective breeding, and that's influenced by things such as DNA sequencing of animals. To be more specific, to be informed about those specific genetic traits that certain animals have for us, and either further select for those, either yes or no, and those traits are being bred for, such as things for productivity or higher efficiency, animal hardiness or longevity, meat quality items. There's a lot of things that go into that, but even just using the advancements in items such as using DNA and being able to run those samples at a more economical level as technology has advanced has made it down into our industry. In crop farming, since there's selective breeding and DNA sequencing of plants, I think that's been a critical part of that sector, or that particular thing for many years, to help us be more efficient through looking at for the plants, being more resistant to diseases, being more efficient with water and resources such as fertilizers, and pesticides, helping us to be mindful and using technology to look at what actually the field needs. What does the plant need for that particular soil or particular area? There's a lot of really cool things that happen technology wise that help us be more efficient with the use of those resources. Of course, I also think there's other technological advancements in terms of how to manage operations, specifically on pig farms. One that we've been using here the last few years is an app in our birthing farms, an app on phones, and it helps the team collect real-time data and provides visibility into what's happening on the farm in the hands of those who can make decisions with the herds, or who are working with the animals every day. Other items that also kind of go in the technological spectrum would be sensors, and those sensors collecting data that goes into systems that use, artificial intelligence. Those types of things are making waves in our industry and are ultimately helping us to care better for animals and make better decisions in the raising of livestock.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that there's so many, advancements through each sector in agriculture. So everybody is really able to, utilize that technology to, like you said, better raise animals and crops. So that's awesome. But on that note, what advancements do you believe are needed still, to further advancement and revolutionize your business?
Pig farming is, in specific, is still a very hands-on business, right? I mean, we still have people every day on farms, and every pig every day is our mantra. We continue to need cost-effective tools to help manage our herds, including health and really tools that provide visibility into things that we may not have a reasonable or efficient ability to capture through just conventional herdsmanship today. So, I would say one example of technology that's been around for a while, but not widely adopted to the date, widely just due to the cost of it and maybe even inaccurate or incomplete information, that isn't helpful. And so I would say right now we're working with a company to pilot some camera-based weighing technology in our growing farms, which in our industry, selecting the pigs for market at the right weight, basically at the right time, at the right weight, is really important to our business. So for this example, if I can have individual pig visibility and data in a certain growing farm or any given growing farm through this technology, we can use that data and through the computing and using the algorithms to determine which pigs are falling behind, which are growing ahead, and just overall have better insight into the farms remotely in the absence of physically weighing each pig, right, or physically having hands-on individual pig care. But the more information and data that we have going forward will only help drive efficiency and advancement. And like I said earlier, I think the main issue has been cost, or in combination with, I would say, a close second being that the technology isn't quite there yet, right? If we're really being honest about it, just because our industry is a pretty specific scope. And so having the right combination of it being cost effective for us to be able to utilize and then it being accurate or relevant enough information is also really important.
Yeah, for sure. And, since ag tech has really been booming within our industry lately, it can seem a little daunting. And, there's so many different choices now these days for, specific sectors. So I guess suppose someone is introducing some new technology to an organization, what advice would you offer them?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of we obviously get a lot of things that come to our front door, to really anymore to our inbox, right? And a lot of times I have to ask the question, like, ask the question of what question or what problem would it be actually answering? Is it something that you need to do your work better, or and sometimes it takes a little dreaming to see how something would work, but also there's a lot of just kind of shiny fancy tools that someone has to convince you that will help. And so it's certainly having a true need and seeing the true benefits without it being something that someone's idea of how it could potentially help it, really needs to answer a question or a need that's present, right? So I think that's the one thing I would give advice for if that was the case.
Gotcha. Yep, that makes sense. And just with the rapid change of pace of, introducing this technology into agriculture, that obviously exposes some talent needs in that area. So what needs do you see specifically that are being exposed in the talent realm?
I would say in our industry specifically, the herdsmanship, people knowing how to handle animals, how to care for animals, and just the knowledge of pig farming as a baseline is an important qualification, since the technology can be developed in such ways that are not relevant or helpful if there's not a true understanding of what's actually happening. So really the need for individuals with, hands-on or true knowledge of the situation or the, what actually happens, to make sure that product isn't being developed by those who are not necessarily in tune with the realities of what happens every day on the farm. And I think that talent, it's a difficult thing, our industry, to think about someone having that knowledge and then also being able to be a part of something that's very technologically advanced. But I think it makes a case for having the right people on the teams creating the products, right? So that they can get that diverse, experience base covered by different types of backgrounds and experiences.
Absolutely. That makes sense. And just kind of a fun question to wrap it up. What's one piece of technology you couldn't go without in your day to day?
Uh, I mean, I guess it comes down to how advanced are we talking? Because at a basic level, I would say my espresso machine is something that I usually do not go each day without. Um, but really, a lot of work in agriculture is done on the cell phone today, right? It's kind of a cliche answer, but honestly, that's very true. And whether it be just written texts or emails, or even just basic phone calls. I think, those are all really important to our business. Leading those, working with our herds every day, I think about like, what's the best way to communicate with different types of people, different types of personalities, or even work locations. Like I mentioned, some are better with email and text, or Teams. Others are still, hey, give me a call later. And so long-winded answer to your question of, I would say, personally, my espresso machine, but professionally, certainly the iPhone is super crucial to our business.
Hey, I'm with you on the espresso machine, so gotta have that caffeine early in the morning. I totally understand that.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
thanks again for being such a great guest on our agriculture ag tech series. It's been fun hearing you share more about your organization and just how technology has evolved and become more widely used within your family business. And if listeners would like to hear or learn more about your operation, where should they go?
Yeah, we're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or I guess I should say X. You can catch us on there just at Hord Family Farms. So look us up on there.
Great. Thanks, Phil. And thank you to those who have tuned in to the podcast today. Again, I'm Casey Taves with Charles Aris Executive Search, and we'll see you next time.